What's going on, Jerome's? Happy Friday. The NFL draft is mercifully less than 2 weeks away, and the big question is, what are the Vikings going to do? Because they enter the 2023 annual selection special with 5 draft picks and no second-round picks. So I was like, what's going to happen? What are the Vikings going to do? Do they trade down from 23? If the board doesn't break right, what is exactly going to happen? And given the limited history that we have with general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, where last year he made some moves. He made some moves, and he ended up with 10 draft picks, but traded in division with the Lions, turning 12 and 46 into 32, 34, 66. Bingo. Ooh, that's a bingo. You just say bingo. Packers 34 for 53 and 59, trading up with the Colts to go get Andrew Booth Jr., as well as making a move with his old team, the Browns, to go get a Caleb Evans. So he's not afraid to move up or down the board, and with the Vikings being bereft of draft picks, it would make some sense if Kwesi wanted to make a move if the board wasn't set up properly at 2023, at 23, and a team was interested in coming up. But we'll see. And Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell fed the local media jackals on Thursday, and Kwesi was asked about potentially trading down and getting more draft picks, and this is what he said, quote, put together from our guys, Vikes Insider. Kwesi said this, quote, "Everybody focuses a lot on the number of draft picks, Spielman. First, I like to point out that last year we had a pretty big class. We had 10 guys that we drafted last year. Honestly, I feel like there's this dynamic now with the draft where it's like every Christmas is a new Christmas and you forgot what you got last year type of thing." It's kind of funny. We've been in the building with a bunch of guys, a bunch of these guys for a year. We talk a lot about ceiling, but we've seen them for a year. We've seen the work habits. We've seen them up close in person. We're really excited about a guy like Lewis Cine, who had his season get cut short, or Caleb Evans, who played snaps, or an Andrew Booth, Brian Asamoah, Jalen Naylor, etc. There's a lot of players that people don't really know about that we're really excited about in this building. We think about them. They didn't have to play a lot last year, right? That's actually a fair point, where the Vikings were a veteran-laden team last year, as well as a bunch of these guys suffered injuries. So they're almost a part of this draft class, if you think about it in a sense. We've said that. We said that, man. Then when you talk about this draft, the number of picks, to me, it's not necessarily about the number of picks. It's about the impact of those picks that you have. If you can find an impact player with your first pick or whatever, you don't have to trade back to get 2 players who might not add up to the same impact. We are going to do it the way we've always done it, and always done it, over 2 years or 1 year? And try to make decisions to find impactful players that fit our culture and the way we're trying to go about business. So overall, Kwesi is not quite Spielman-esque, where Spielman talked just to talk. Where Spielman was a master of talking for a long time, but ultimately saying nothing, not really tipping his hand. Kwesi will give you a legit answer, and he does bring up a good point about the 2022 draft class, because Kwesi got a lot of flack for this class, right? And I think we live in a microwave society. We should live in a crockpot society, but everyone wants it now. But low and slow is indeed the way to go. And a bunch of these guys, Cine with a broken leg, Andrew Booth Jr. with a meniscus, Asamoah didn't get the time of day. Caleb Evans had the concussion issue. So Ty Chandler had the broken thumb. So a lot of these guys didn't get an opportunity because of injury or because they had a veteran ahead of them that was absorbing snaps. And Kwesi's right, and we've made this point before. You're basically getting an extra rookie class with these 10 players. I mean, the only players that made a legit impact from this rookie class was Ed Ingram, who started all the games, as well as Ryan Wright, who was a UDFA. So guys like Cine, guys like Booth, guys like Asamoah, guys like Evans, Otamuwo on defense. I think that these guys are either going to be starting or be high-level contributors this year and going forward. So it's not right to just write off this 2022 class. And even though the Vikings are low on draft picks, factoring in the fact that you have a lot of these guys from 2022 who are going to be contributing for the first time in a meaningful way, that does matter. And Kwesi did bring up a good point where, this class, it's solid day 2, but the consensus is there's only about 20 first-round graded players, right? So if you have a chance to get one of those guys that are high on your board at 23, do you trade down just to have a shot at 2 guys in the second round, or a second rounder and a high third rounder? Do you do that just because you feel like you feel insecure with your number of picks? I don't know. But also, we'll see how the board breaks. Do they take a quarterback? Do they take Hendon Hooker at 23? But do they ultimately find a deal that they can't pass up and they trade down? Because the players that they have left on the board, they don't see worth the 23rd overall pick. So we'll see in that sense. But yeah, I think that he brings up some good points about this 2022 class. And I know that Kwesi has made a lot of deals in the past, especially in division, and he said before that he didn't want to like gouge out the Lions' eyes. Where he could have pushed for getting the Lions' first round pick this year, but he didn't because he paraphrasing here, but Kwesi said like he has to do business with all these other decision makers in the future. So to a degree, I understand that, and I'm not really buying that he's not going to do any deals. Like I think that if the right one comes along, it's his fiduciary responsibility to the team. That doesn't make sense, but it's his responsibility to the team. It's literally his job to be seeking out these deals, looking under every rock, and getting as much information as possible. So I think it's possible that they trade down. I think it's possible that they say, screw it. Our guy is available. We have an opportunity to trade up. We'll package some of these first-round picks or some nice. We'll go get our guy, a potential future franchise quarterback. But I think all options are on the table right now. I think it's exactly how Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell like it. They're approaching things with an open mind, as well as if you're down for anything, like it's hard to peg what your strategy is going to be in the draft. Although, I mean, it's pretty clear that the Vikings are going for a quarterback. Unless that's all just an elaborate bluff, which would be just hilarious to me. Man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah talked about potentially trading down in the draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.